Hello everyone, good morning, welcome to my channel. I'm Jordan. Today is Friday, May 27th, which means it is day one of the Thrill Till the Weekend readathon, and I'm so excited to be participating this round. I am a co-host. If you missed the announcement, I'll link the video so you can pause this, watch that, and then come back and watch this and know what you're seeing. But I'm so excited for the 72-hour readathon. I wanted to start by talking about my TBR because it is just a 3-day readathon. Obviously, I want to keep my expectations realistic, but it is a weekend and I actually have quite a bit of reading time coming up, so I think I'm gonna be able to squeeze in 2 full-size books and 1 short story is the plan. So to start with the short story that I want to read this weekend, actually I have to talk about the movie watch first, which is happening tonight. We all watch a movie at the same time, we press play, we chat in the Discord about it. We're going to be watching In the Tall Grass, which is an adaptation of a short story written by Stephen King and Joe Hill. And I saw Cindy from Oodles of Books post her TBR for this readathon, and she was going to read that short story before we watched the movie. And I thought that's a really great idea and I want to do that. So I found the audiobook on Scribd, and that's going to be the first thing I'm reading is In the Tall Grass by Stephen King and Joe Hill. I know absolutely nothing about it. By the title, I'm going to assume we're going to be spending our time in some tall grass, and I'm sure spooky, scary things are going to happen. The second book that I want to read for this readathon is the buddy read for the event. That's The Missing by Kirsten Modulin. This is an isolated island story about strangers who all go to this island, and I'm assuming start getting picked off one by one, or weird things start happening on the island. Very excited for this one as well. It sounds like a plot I'm going to enjoy, and it's going to be really fun discussing the book with the other participants of the readathon. That's going to happen in Discord. I'm actually leading that discussion on Sunday, so I of course want to make sure that I've finished the book by Sunday and can think of discussion questions before then. So that's going to be my first priority. And then the third book that I want to get to this readathon is the only one that I have physically. It's Confessions by Kanai Minato. This is a Japanese thriller horror book that's been translated into English, and I've heard great things about it. It's also the Literally Dead book club pick for this month, and they're doing the discussion in the next week or so. So I would like to read this and be a part of that. I believe it is a revenge story about a teacher, but I've been told not to know anything more than that, so I haven't looked into it. This one is pretty short, around 230 pages. So I'm confident whenever I do get physical reading time, I'm going to be able to pick this up and fly through it. So that is the TBR for this event. Honestly, it feels realistic to me. I don't know if I'm just overconfident, but I feel like I'm going to be able to squeeze all of that in. I don't really have any other plans for the weekend. It is nice around here. The weather's going to be nice this weekend. It's been cold and rainy all week, but today, this Friday, it's nice and sunny in the 70s. And this weekend, I think it's going to be even warmer. So I'm sure I'll be outside with my kids and things like that. But whenever I have a spare moment, I'll be reading. Right now it is 6:50 a.m. I've been doing this really great thing lately because my kids have been waking up so early, 5 a.m. We've been able to get them ready and get them off to daycare by around 6:45, 7 o'clock every morning. I'm not really required to be at work until around 8, so that means I've been able to drop them off at daycare, drive to work, and then have about 30 minutes to read every morning. And I've been doing that and I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice way to center myself before I walk into the crazy workplace, and then no matter what else happens throughout the day, I've already gotten pages in. So that's been really nice. I can't say whether that's something I would make time for if my kids didn't force me to wake up early. So it feels a little hypocritical to say that I would recommend you do that. But if you have extra time in the morning and if you don't mind getting up earlier, it is really nice to spend 30 minutes reading, even if it's just in your car before you walk into work, or if it's at home, if you have some extra time at home, if you have your physical book, or if you have an audiobook. I am really enjoying that time. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to drive to work. I'm going to start the audiobook of In the Tall Grass, and it's actually less than 2 hours long, and I can double speed that and get it done in less than an hour, which actually means I could finish this first book before I walk into work today, which is amazing. That's going to be my plan. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to start the audiobook. I'm going to drive to work, and then I'm going to sit at work in my car until I finish that audiobook, and then I will pop back on with my thoughts, and then we will just see where the day goes from there. But kicking off the readathon, feeling really good. I'm wearing my Netflix and Thrill sweatshirt today, of course, because tonight is that movie watch together. So I'm just feeling really good. I'm ready to get the day started. So I will check back in when I have an update on In the Tall Grass.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with...
Okay, I finished the that was weird. I don't read a lot of horror, especially short horror and like novellas or short story type things. So I'm not sure how to feel about it. Like, I'm not sure if my feelings are about the story or just about the format and like what it is, because I really like things that are explained and have a reason and a purpose. And I feel like just inherently a book that is so short, that's not even a book, it's just a novella or a short story, like by nature it can't fully explain and dive into everything it's trying to say. So you have to make some inferences. And I'm kind of left with the feeling after that one of like, what was the point? To give a very brief synopsis, obviously I don't want to spoil anything because it's super short. We are following this brother and sister combo. They're adults and they are driving in the middle of Kansas, and they come across this field of super tall grass and they hear a little boy saying, "Help me, help me." So they obviously go into the grass to help him, and then very strange things start happening in the grass. And I have to say, I wasn't like creeped out or scared by it. I think because it's such a specific and unlikely situation that I don't find myself like feeling like I could ever be in that situation. Not that I wouldn't go help someone if they were stuck in the grass, but like the weird things that happen in the grass are just so unbelievable to me that it doesn't scare me, if that makes sense. That's also why I don't really like paranormal type thriller movies, because I just don't really believe in paranormal things, and so I don't find them scary because I don't find them believable or realistic. Whereas thrillers where people are the villains and the scary thing, that's scary to me because crazy people exist. So I don't know. And then like the ending and the whole point of it is the other piece that I don't know. Like, I kind of want to Google if there's like an explanation for this story, but I kind of feel like there's not. I feel like it's just weird for weird's sake. And I know that people like that, and I just think I'm not one of those people who likes that. So yeah, I am interested in watching the movie adaptation because I'm very curious to see if they change it or are they going to add to it and add some depth. I don't know. I'm very curious. I'm also very curious to hear what some of the other people reading this book think about it, because I don't know. I don't have a good like framework to reference for horror novellas. So I have no idea if this was good or bad. I think it's clear though that I didn't like love it, so I think my rating is gonna be probably like a 3 stars, just because I have no real feelings about it. It didn't make me feel scared, it just made me feel confused, and I don't really feel satisfied in knowing that the confusion was like for a purpose, like it was trying to say anything. I can tell you I do feel extremely accomplished having finished my first book already, and it's barely 8 a.m. So I am going to go into work now. We will see what the day brings. I did work extremely late last night, like until 11 p.m. So I probably will be able to get out of work a little bit early this afternoon and maybe can do something fun and bring you along for that. But we will see when it comes to that time. You never know when a fire is gonna pop up that ruins all of your work and after work plans. So I don't wanna make anything too concrete, but I will check in when I have a little bit more of a plan, maybe when I get started into my next book and when I have something to tell you about it.
Love till my heart stops beating, I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want.
Okay, it is the end of the day now and I'm headed home. It is just after 4 p.m. So it's a little bit later than I was hoping to get out of there, but that is okay. It is officially the weekend and a long holiday weekend, so I am happy. I unfortunately don't really have any time to go do anything fun right now, so I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna get my kids, and I have some stuff to get done at home before the movie watch starts in just 3 hours. So I'm so excited for the movie. Other people have read In the Tall Grass today, and they're talking about it in the Discord with me, and we're like, I hope the movie has some better explanation than that book, because that was just straight up weird. So we will see. I will report back. And on my drive home, I'm going to start listening to The Missing. This audiobook is only 8 hours and 26 minutes, so it's also going to be super short. Obviously not as short as that first one, but still able to be finished in less than 5 total hours of listening time, which is an absolute win. So I'm gonna get started on it now, and I will update either when I'm a little bit into this book, when I'm at home and I have an update on it, or when it is time for the movie watch.
Staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. Face on when I chase like that, yeah, I play so strong with a knife in the back. I'ma swing home run like a baseball bat. Gonna see me rise, you can hate on that. I don't play both sides, don't need no cap. I'm a ride or die for my dreams on tap.
Alright, I just finished the movie watch of In the Tall Grass, and once again it was super fun to be chatting with people in Discord as the movie was going on, and it's still going, and people have a lot of opinions about that movie. The movie was a roller coaster of emotions. I feel like they did a lot. They added so much that wasn't in the novella, and I think it's the type of thing that you are either going to be satisfied with it or not satisfied with it in terms of an ending, and I was more satisfied with the movie and kind of explanation than I was with the book. I felt like the book gave me absolutely nothing, and the movie at least gave me something, and even if I hated it, it still at least was something to like grip onto, if that makes sense. And so I think because my feelings on the movie are that overall it's bad, but I liked it more than the book, I think I'm gonna lower my rating of the novella down to 2 stars, and then my rating of the movie would be like 3 stars-ish. So not sure what that tells you in terms of recommendation. I am not really a Stephen King fan in general, so I would definitely take my opinions with a grain of salt, because I also didn't really go into this expecting to like either the novella or the movie. So overall, a super fun time to watch it with friends. I would watch any terrible movie with this group of people and chat with them in Discord. It totally makes it worth it, and honestly makes it more fun to like have things to rag on, I feel like. So I loved it. Once again, it is now 8:45 p.m. for me, so the night is somewhat young. I'm gonna go see what my husband is doing. He did not watch this with me because he does not like scary movies, so I knew this would not be his thing. So I'm gonna go see what he's doing, maybe hang out with him for a little bit. I may perhaps get some more reading in. I'm only like 15% into the missing, and honestly I don't have any opinions yet, so I'm gonna save like my synopsis and initial thoughts until I get a little bit further in. So I'm thinking at this point I will just check in with you tomorrow once I've got some more reading in and kind of have a plan for how tomorrow's gonna go, and I can let you know what's gonna be happening on day 2 of Thrill Till the Weekend. So I will see you tomorrow. Good morning, you guys. It is Saturday morning. Hopefully you can hear me okay. We're outside, obviously. It's kind of windy. We've got neighbors mowing the lawn, but it's like 9:15 in the morning. My one baby is taking a nap. My other toddler loves to be outside, so we're spending some time outside. It's gonna get really nice later, so we'll probably do some outside like water activities and stuff later, but still pretty early, so it's still warming up. I brought my headphones outside so I can keep listening to the book that I'm listening to. I'm about 25% of the way through The Missing. I've been seeing some pretty bad reviews about the book so far, so I'm nervous about where it's gonna go. So far we're getting the situation where there's like 5 strangers that have been abandoned on this random island, and then we're also getting some flashbacks to the main character and her like relationship with her husband. So we'll see where that goes. I hope it doesn't get too domestic thrillery with that background stuff. I definitely am more of a fan of like the action-y present day timeline, but that is the plan for today, is just to keep hanging out with my kiddos, listen to my audiobook when I can, probably get some chores done around the house and things like that, and prepare for the live show tonight on Jacqueline's channel. So I'll probably just have some B-roll for the rest of the day, or the majority of the rest of the day, until I have more of an update on the missing. Plan would be to finish that today, and then tonight on the live show I think we're planning on doing at least one reading sprint, and I would like to start Confessions, reading that physically tonight. So we'll see what happens. I will update you, of course, but happy day 2 of the readathon, and happy Saturday. It's definitely a happy Saturday here. Can you say happy Saturday?
Happy Saturday!
Okay, you guys, I was just about to go to bed when I realized I have not updated the vlog in several hours, and I have a lot to catch you up on. So I'm gonna try to do a really speedy update. Please ignore the freshly showered, no makeup, clearly about to go to sleep look here. It is currently 11:30 p.m. and about a half hour ago we just ended the live show birthday party on Jacqueline's channel, and that was so much fun. We just like played games, we did a reading sprint, we talked about books obviously, and I love games so much and I love those people so much that it was the best way to spend 4 hours of my life. That is double the amount of time we were anticipating that whole live show going. So clearly we were having a really good time. So that was super fun. Thank you for everyone who tuned in, and if you missed it you can go back and watch it on Jacqueline's channel. You can probably even speed it up, which might be worth it if you want to watch the whole thing but not spend 4 hours doing it. So of course I will have that linked below, but I also have a reading update. Earlier today I finished The Missing by Kirsten Modglin, and oh man, you guys, do I have thoughts. I think I'm rating it 1 star, which feels extremely harsh, and typically I only reserve that for books that I like absolutely would not recommend anybody read, and it doesn't feel like it's quite that level. Like there's nothing in it that is blatantly offensive or that I think makes it not worthy of being published. However, I don't think it does what it was trying to do well enough to recommend over other books that do similar things better. And I don't think there's anything about this book that I will be thinking about in the future and like contemplating or referencing back as like, oh, I miss reading that vibe or that plot or reading about those characters or anything like that. It just did not work for me. And instead of sitting here and like ripping on it forever, I think my main overarching feeling is that if you would like an island thriller recommendation about people who are stranded on an island, can't get off, I would first off recommend Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins, and then I would also apparently recommend The Island by Adrienne McKinty, which is a brand new thriller book that everyone is reading right now. I have not personally read it, but the people who have read it are saying it's like similar to The Missing, but just raised up so many notches, just in like the plotting and how everything makes sense and you don't end up with questions, and the tension. The Missing was completely lacking in the tension, and so if you're looking for like that heart-pounding island vibes thriller, apparently that's the one to go to. And then on the other end, if you're looking for an island vibe and you're looking for characters that you can super connect with, and this might be a minor spoiler, but there is a romance like subplot within The Missing. If you would like a better island romance, I would recommend On the Island by Tracy Garvis Graves. My biggest gripe about The Missing is definitely a spoiler, so I'm gonna put a spoiler thing up right now until I'm done talking about it. But basically The Missing takes place over 2 months, and by the end of those 2 months, our main character is in love with this guy that apparently is so in love with her that he's willing to kill himself for her to get off of the island. And yet this whole time she's been saying how much she misses her husband, she can't wait to get back to her husband, but then at the very end of this experience she gets with this other guy, they end up having a baby together, and it is just so ridiculous to me. Whereas on the island, it is a several year process for these two characters to get to know each other, to fall in love. There's no thriller aspect, so definitely don't go in thinking that, because you will be severely disappointed at the lack of tension, but it's actually believable with the amount of time that these two are spending together on this island isolated that they would develop feelings in a relationship. Whereas in The Missing, it was just a no. So with that being said, I am still very excited to discuss this book tomorrow in Discord, because we're doing an actual book discussion. I'm going to be posting some discussion questions for everybody, and I do think it is fun when people have polarizing opinions about a book and can actually have discussions about where were things missing, were there like plot holes that other people can help fill in, or are there just feelings that people have that are worthy of discussing, versus books where everyone has like a general 4-star opinion on and everyone's like, yeah, this was pretty good, and I don't have much more to say past that. So I think it'll be a fun one. And then I did also on the live show get started on confessions. I only got about 30 pages in, so I'm only in like the very beginning of the setup of the plot. I do want to talk about the setup of this book. I will say that I was told to go into this book knowing absolutely nothing. And if you want to know absolutely nothing, again, I will put a spoiler thing up here so that you can skip past that and just get to like my final thoughts and whether I'd recommend it, which will be like tomorrow when I finish the book. But right now I want to talk about the initial setup, because I only have like one trigger, and it's a mild trigger, but like the only thing that really disturbs me in books is very specific and not super common, and that is the setup of this book. So if you happen to be curious about what that is and worried about if that will trigger you, I will talk about that right now. So this is all about this teacher who is retiring from teaching because she recently had an incident where her daughter died, and she suspects that it was somebody, one of the students in her classroom, that killed her daughter and not an accident like it was played out to have been. And I think this is going to be the revenge story of this teacher, like getting revenge on the students she thinks killed her daughter. And it's not like super graphic in here. It does describe the scene or the time where the teacher like found her daughter and how she was looking for her and the process of losing her, like finding her dead. That is I don't even want to say triggering to me, because it doesn't do anything to me that I can't like recover from. It just hits me really, really hard. And like I can very easily put myself in that position as someone who has kids, though I don't think you have to have kids to be able to imagine that scenario and obviously not understand what it would be like. I absolutely cannot say that I know what that would feel like, or that I can empathize or imagine it in any real way, because I have not experienced that. Thank God, and knock on wood. But something about whenever that happens in books like makes me like my brain just shuts off. I don't know, it's like I get so emotional, but at the same time my brain 100% does not let me go there, because that is my biggest and worst fear. So I am still going to continue on with this book, because I think that we're past like the actual scene that was describing it. But it is kind of interesting that, you know, when people tell you to go into books knowing absolutely nothing, I don't know, I guess it's a bigger discussion. It's the whole trigger warning discussions. Are they warranted? Are they worth doing, even if some people consider that spoilers, even if it's something early on in the book, or conversely, even if it's something later on in a book or a potential plot twist or reveal? Is the fact that you can save someone from triggering themselves worth doing that to other readers that it doesn't trigger? I don't know. I think it's too late to have this discussion. I just wanted to bring it up because this very rarely happens to me, where I get triggered by books, and I think this is a relatively new thing that I'm finding out bothers me. But again, it doesn't bother me to the point of not wanting to read the book. So it's like, would I have rather known that going in, or is it okay being a surprise for me if, you know, I can still get past it and read and enjoy a book? I don't know. More thoughts to come as I finish this book. I think that will help me understand how I feel about the issue and the conversation. But the plan is to finish this book tomorrow if I can squeeze it in. Like I said, I'm 30 pages in and it's about 235 pages long. So about 200 pages to read tomorrow. I should hopefully have time to do that. It's just a matter of whether I can physically pick up the book when I am like watching my kids. I will do my best, but that is the plan. I am very sad that tomorrow is already the last day of this readathon, but that's what happens with 3-day readathons, is they go quick. And even though my reading hasn't been the greatest so far, with my first 2 books being such low ratings, I'm still having a really, really good time, and I'm enjoying having people to talk about these books with. So my spirits are still high. I'm very excited for tomorrow, and I will check in, of course, again when I have more thoughts on this book and to wrap up the readathon as a whole. So I will check in with you tomorrow. Okay, I've got another late night check-in, you guys. It is 10:30 p.m. on Sunday night, so we are in the final hours of the readathon, and I'm gonna call it quits here. I was able to finish my third book, Confessions, and I definitely have a lot of thoughts about this one. I think I actually would recommend knowing a little bit about it going into it. I can't remember where exactly I heard the advice to go into this knowing absolutely nothing, but I took that advice, and I think had I changed my expectations a little bit, I would have enjoyed it more, because even going into a book with no expectations, I still have expectations, you know? I, for some reason, was expecting this to be super fast paced, and it wasn't, and I can still enjoy books that are slower paced. I think I just have to know going into it that that's what I should expect. I also, of course, wish I knew the very initial premise of the book going in, because I just personally would have been a little bit more prepared for some disturbing subject matter. But the format of the book is also super interesting, and I think worth saying, because it doesn't at all spoil the content of the book, but it at least gets your mind into the right space before you go into it, so you know what to expect just literally in terms of reading the book. This is separated into 6 parts, and each part is narrated by a different character, and they're pretty long chunks. Like, the first perspective is, let me see, 54 pages, and then you switch to a new character and they get to go on for their spiel. And I overall think that was an effective way of telling this story. It's definitely unique, and it does make it all like come together. Like, each character does describe some of the same incidents and some of the same scenes from their perspective, and it changes how you feel about that incident, which I think is awesome. There is just something, unfortunately, holding me back from giving this book a high rating. I don't know, maybe I should give it a few days. Right now, I think it's a 3. I put it on Goodreads as a 3-star. That could change. I'm not against changing ratings at a later time if, you know, I think about it more and certain things stick out to me, you know, later as either good or bad. I also am interested in joining Kayla's live show for this book, which I think is in about a week. Hearing other people discuss what they did or didn't like about it can definitely help me solidify my feelings, so I'm going to do that. But as of now, it's a 3-star for me. I'm a little disappointed by that, but also I don't personally see 3 stars as a terrible rating, so that's where it's sitting. Overall, I did think the twists were good. I think the story is good. It was a lot slower paced than I was expecting, and again, I just wish I knew more about it going in. So with that, I am at the end of Thrill Till the Weekend, and even though I did not have the best reading weekend in terms of ratings, I had a 1-star, a 2-star, and a 3-star, which I think we can all objectively agree is not great. I still had an absolute blast. I'm happy with the amount of reading I got in, and ultimately I just had so much fun with this readathon. I think it's set up in such a great way where there's so much interaction with people in Discord and so much interaction with the movie watch and the live show and the actual book discussion. So Jackie, thank you so much again for having me as a co-host and for creating this readathon to begin with. I already cannot wait for future rounds. And then my fellow co-host this round, it was so much fun having so many of us interacting, and I enjoyed getting to know some of you better that I didn't really know before this readathon going in. So hopefully you feel the same way and we can, you know, continue interacting going forward and collaborating and things like that. And yeah, I am feeling good. Tomorrow is a holiday for me, so I'm excited to rest and not really be reading anything. I'm hoping there will be some other Thrill to the Weekend vlogs going up soon that I can watch, but for now I am going to go to bed. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.